isn't something I'm comfortable with at all.
Smart.
Shedeur. I gotta take this one, I gotta decompress, I gotta understand, like, this really happened, on my watch.
I don't know whose fault it is. Is it this kid's fault for some reason?
Smart.
Shedeur.
Why? What?
Who cares? But he's a fifth.
You traded up for him.
Okay. They made a point of getting him.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just react to Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut.
Continues. After the game is over, there were Browns offensive linemen saying it was the first time they had ever heard his cadence. Starters saying they had never even heard him calling the signals before taking a snap.
He absolutely erupted. It wasn't just a rant. It was a full-on verbal explosion on national TV. And his message was loud and clear. Kevin Stefanski has to go. According to Stephen A., this wasn't just a loss. It was coaching malpractice. Let's start from the top. Browns versus Ravens. A tough matchup in a hostile environment. Dillon Gabriel is starting. The Browns are hanging in the game. But all of a sudden, everything changes. Gabriel takes a shot, and he's out with a concussion. That's when the quiet turns into chaos. Enter Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with a massive last name, spotlight already glowing before he even stepped onto the field.
Look, number one, my biggest question is, you traded up to get this guy. So clearly you think he has the talent to play the position.
Someone does, yes.
Why hadn't he had a chance? He has no reps with the ones. We understand that, right? That's what the line's saying. That, to me, how the hell is...
But make no mistake, what happened next wasn't some underdog trap. It was a hard fall. Shedeur completed just 4 passes out of 16. That's not a number you can spin. 47 total yards. 1 interception that you just can't make in the NFL. 1 fumble that cost them momentum. 2 sacks that just looked painful. And the worst part? 0 points. 0. The Browns didn't put a single point on the board while he was at quarterback. This wasn't a tough day. It was a nightmare. And Stephen A. Smith was not having it.
As anyone, perhaps, that when he actually goes out on the field in the game, it looks completely catastrophic.
And of course, and if we go back to the summer, they have these 2 rookie quarterbacks, and the reps and the snaps go to Joe Flacco, they go to Kenny Pickett, who they trade for, they go to Dillon Gabriel. No.
The way Stephen A. broke it down, he didn't miss a beat. He didn't blame Shedeur for being inexperienced. He blamed the coach. His argument was simple. How can you put a rookie, a young player, out there with that little preparation? The NFL isn't a learning ground for trial and error. And if you send someone out unprepared, that's on leadership. Watch that interception back, and you'll get the point. Shedeur rolls right, starts feeling pressure, but instead of throwing it out of bounds or taking the loss, he tries to force a pass across the field into coverage. That's a mistake college quarterbacks make, not NFL quarterbacks. He should have known, or someone should have taught him. The fumble was ugly too. He held onto the ball too long in the pocket, and Baltimore punished him. You could almost feel the weight of the game collapsing on him. But here's what makes it even more interesting. This wasn't just about one kid struggling. It was about what the Browns did, or didn't do, to prepare him. Let's talk about Stefanski for a moment. He's been the Browns head coach since 2020. He's been there through ups and downs. He's made the playoffs once, and he's had several quarterbacks come and go under his watch. But this time, the heat is real. Because if Stephen A. Smith is right, then Stefanski made a huge mistake. He didn't have his backup ready. He didn't give Shedeur the proper reps. He threw the kid to the wolves and hoped for the best. Now sure, fans get emotional. Analysts get heated. But here's the thing. When Stephen A. speaks, people listen. And when he says, Fire him. It trends. The team's response didn't help much either. Stefanski said after the game that they trust all their players and that Shedeur will learn from this. But that sounds like coach talk. If you really trust your rookie, you don't put him out there raw and unready, especially not against Baltimore's defense. That defense isn't kid-friendly. They're aggressive, unpredictable, and they smell fear. So whose fault is it? Does the blame fall on Shedeur for struggling? Or is Stefanski the one who failed to prepare his rookie? Let's be fair. Shedeur Sanders didn't just fall out of the sky. He played under his father, Coach Prime, at Colorado. He lit up college defenses. He's confident, he has arm talent, and he's used to big stages. But college football and the NFL are different planets. In college, you might have space and time. In the NFL, you blink, you're on the ground. I actually think Shedeur will be fine. He's got talent. But this debut, this first performance, could stick with him for a long time if it's not handled right. Because the NFL has no patience. Fans will turn, media will roast, and if the locker room loses faith, it gets lonely real fast. And that's why this isn't just about one bad game. It's about how you protect your young players. Stefanski had a job to prepare 2 quarterbacks, not one. If the starter goes down, the backup should be able to keep the team afloat. You don't have to be a star. Just do enough to give your guys a chance. Didn't happen here. Let me ask you something. Do you know how many rookie QBs crumble after a bad debut? A lot. Confidence is fragile. And the NFL doesn't stop. Next week, next game, the train keeps moving. If Stefanski wants to save this, he better have a plan. Because this was embarrassing. Now, could it just be a moment? Yeah, sure. Gabriel could come back. Shedeur could get time to learn, and Stefanski might keep his job. But in the world of headlines, what matters isn't what happens next. It's what happened today. And today, Stephen A. Smith publicly called for Kevin Stefanski to lose his job. That doesn't happen every week. Let's say for a moment that Stephen A. is right. Let's imagine the Browns fire Stefanski. Then what? Do you start over? New coach, new system, another year of changes. Do you think Shedeur's development gets easier? Probably not. In fact, it might get even harder. So it's messy. And that's why every football fan, every analyst, every person who watched this game is glued to this story. Because right now, it's not just about winning or losing. It's about survival. Survival for a coach, survival for a rookie's career, and survival for a team that's tired of starting over. Stephen A. said it best though, this is the NFL. It's not about sympathy, it's about wins, results, leadership. And if you can't give your team that, then maybe someone else should get a shot. Does Kevin Stefanski deserve to be fired? That's up to the Browns organization. But today, Stephen A. made sure everyone in the country knows exactly where he stands. And guess what? No one's forgetting this one. So what happens now? If I'm Stefanski, I'm in the film room right now, working overtime and figuring out how to fix this. If I'm Shedeur, I'm watching tape, learning how fast this game really is, and getting ready. Because there will be another chance, and we'll all be watching. That's the truth, plain and simple. One game doesn't define a career, but it can define a coach's future. Let's see what the Browns do next.